also. You can get the handouts, that material there in the handout section. You can go in the handouts and you can download that material. So that is the slides what I'm using. That slides I already have shared. And at the end of this session, I will share the recording also, so that you can watch that recording. You can replay that recording if you have if you have some internet connectivity issue at any time. You can go and watch that recording at later time. So due to internet connectivity, if something happens bad at your end, no worries. I will share the recording. Okay, so let's start the session. I'm sharing my screen here. And I will return back on the screen afterwards. Okay. So yeah, guys, good evening. I'm Manoj Mahajan. I'm a trainer for this IT Pro and Cloud certification courses here at Certification Group. And you can visit my profile here under my website. I'm having that website. Just 1 second. So here, my website is my personal website I'm sharing here, manojmahajan.com. And you can see my profile. You can see my certifications, what I completed there. And you can see my resume also. You can visit my certification page. I got Microsoft total 32 exams completed. I'm having Google Cloud, Amazon, VMware, and other certification technologies also. I'm having like ethical hacker. I'm having that 2 certifications completed from EC Council. CCNA, I was having the Solaris and Red Hat certification also I got completed. I'm in training field from last 22 years, more than 22 years. I'm running these batches and these training courses, and you can verify these certifications also. Recently, I completed this Google Cloud certification, and I got Alibaba Cloud also got that associate level certification completed. I am planning for more certification to get completed this 2020 and 2021 for this cloud certification or cloud subject, you can say. And for Microsoft, I'm having 32 exams completed. Then also I need to go and appear my next level of certification, that is in the cloud profile for Azure mostly. And Microsoft is my main focus here, Microsoft certifications, you can say, because it is widely used and common certification. Okay, so I request you to visit this my profile page for getting, and you can connect me on the Facebook or Twitter or on LinkedIn also. But mostly, if you want to talk with me directly, you can call me on my. You can fill this form, or you can call me on the WhatsApp number, or you can call me on my local numbers also. These are the VoIP numbers, and you can call me. Indian numbers are local numbers, but from outside of India, we are having that VoIP number. I'm having my VoIP desk phone here, and you can directly talk with me whenever you got some question or whenever you want some guidance related with IT. So I will be always with you at any step in your career. Okay, so today's subject, let me open my notes here. So let me close these all the things, what I'm running. Okay. So let me go with my offline copy of the notes. I already have shared these notes with you in that handout section. You can see that below the chat window, handout is already there. You can go and download these notes for offline view. Okay, so what is our today's subject? This is Windows Server Essential Training. It's a core IT technology. So we are providing this technology knowledge free of cost. And it will be approximately 1.5 hour session. It should not go more than 1.5 hour. But I am a trainer, so I don't count the hours and I don't count the minutes also. But it might go sometime due to questions and answers and some technical details. Sometime it may go more than that. But approximately 1.5 hour we can count. Now, what we need to cover here, we need to cover the introduction to the OS, what server operating system we are going to install, that server OS we need to understand first. And then we will install that server OS, and we will install the domain controller also, that is Active Directory environment we will have. We will create 1 or 2 users there, and we will put that users in the group, and we will have our client computer also connected. That is the client OS also connected there in the server. Okay, first thing, before going on the theory, because installation will take a time, so my second step, what I'm having, second lesson, you can say, is for installation demonstration part, you can say. So these all the things in the second lesson will be the demonstration. But to go on that demonstration, I need the server voice, I need one client, and for that reason, I will just start the installation right now. After 20 minutes, after 30 minutes, we will have that one client and one server ready for our practical purpose, for our demonstration purpose. So I will just go there and I will just have that installation completed. Let me check if you have any questions. Okay, that's good. No questions from your end. Okay, so let's do the installation of your Windows server. You can do this Windows installation, this server installation in this desktop virtualization products. I'm running on my laptop. I'm running Windows 10 Enterprise Edition. That is the desktop OS. And on the desktop OS, if I want to practice, then I will use these virtualization products. This is the virtualization product from Oracle. It's called as Oracle VirtualBox. You can go with VMware Workstation Pro also. It is licensed copy. You need to purchase this. The cost is approximately $200 per license per device. So it will be too costly for you. You can go with a free product from VMware. It's called as VMware Workstation Player. So any one of the product you can use, whatever you love to have. VirtualBox is open source, free, and this VMware Workstation Player is also free. Let me show you how you will download this. So you just need to go to this vmware.com website for VMware Player download, or you can get 30 days evaluation copy of VMware Workstation Pro also. So just go to these products. Sorry, yeah, you go to download directly, and you will see free products and download, and you can find that VMware Workstation Player link. Just click on that, and you will see that VMware Workstation Player for Windows and VMware Workstation Player for Linux is also available for download. You just need to click this button, and it will start the download. So for evaluation copy, you can go to again download, and you can see the product under free product and trial. And demos, you can find that VMware Workstation Pro 30 days evaluation copy will be there. So that is the trial copy you can get. But instead of this, I prefer this VirtualBox. VirtualBox.org is a website here. So you can go to this VirtualBox. You can search in the Google also VirtualBox, or download VirtualBox. From the Google also, you can reach to this website. Okay. And here you will see a central blue button, big blue button. You can click on that, or you can click from the left hand menu, the download option, and it will start. It will ask you the OS, which OS you want, for which OS you want to download this VirtualBox. So for Windows host, click this option. For Macintosh or Linux distribution, you can go with that respective download link. So from this virtualbox.org website, you can download the VirtualBox. Another thing you need for this demonstration or for this practical part is your Windows server. So you can get this Windows server from this Microsoft.com eval center. So let me copy this and let me share this in the chat window. Okay, so here I'll copy and paste this for you. Let me just go and run this first. Perfect. So this is eval center. Just one second. Microsoft.com/eval center. Perfect. So this link I need to share with you so that you can download this Windows server from this. Let me share the URL for VirtualBox also. So from this URL, you can go and download this VirtualBox. For VMware Player, let me share that link also. Oh, sorry. Here. So you can download VMware Player. VMware Player is free product. You don't need to purchase the license for this. So either VirtualBox or VMware Workstation Pro, VMware Workstation Player, you can use that free version VMware Player to get this lab set. And for your evaluation copy of Windows Server or Windows Client, you can go to this Eval Center. And once you are in the Eval Center, so let me go on the Eval Center. Once you will be there, you need to select here the product. So you need to have the Windows Server evaluation copy downloaded. So just click here, and you will see the Windows Server 2019. I will open this link in a new tab. And sometime if you want to try the client operating system, you can go with this Windows, and you can download this Windows 10 Enterprise Edition 90 days evaluation copy. Microsoft is giving you there. So you can go and download Windows 10 also if you want ISO image in the enterprise licensing. So that is Windows 10 Enterprise license for 90 days valid. Automatically it will get activated, and for 90 days it will work. So 90 days is more than enough period. After 90 days you can go and rearm that product again for 90 days, so you can extend the evaluation period, or you can delete the virtual machine, or you can simply create a new virtual machine for another 90 days. You can enjoy. So this ISO image will help you to install as many as virtual machines for that Windows 10 or for Windows Server also. So for 2019 server, you will see 180 days evaluation copy Microsoft is giving, and you can, after 180 days, you can just rearm the process. So that is one command, rearm command you need to enter, and then you can extend that evaluation period again for 180 days. Like this, you can extend this total 6 times. This Windows Server 6 times means total. You can say approximately 3 years you can use without product key. You just need to try that for 180 days, and after 180 days you just need to run that rearm command. And from this list you need to select this ISO image, just say continue, and then you need to fill your details. You can just fill any details here, and at the end it will ask you to select the language. Just select the language, and then that ISO image installation option will get shown, and then you will continue that that download option. Sorry, it's a download option. So after selecting your language, it will show you the download link, and you can continue that download. It is approximately 4 or 5 GB in the size, or 4.8 or something for 2019 server. If you want to try older version, no worries. You can go and just scroll down on the same page, Windows Server evaluation page. You can just scroll down, and you can see how they have 2016 server, 2012 R2 server, so 2012 Hyper-V. So different products they are having related with server operating system here. For Windows 10 Enterprise Edition, they are having this Windows 10 only available there. Windows 10 Enterprise Edition. You won't get Windows 7 or older version of Windows available for evaluation purpose, 90 days purpose. Okay, so I'm already having this downloaded. These all the products and installed there. And let me show you. I'm having this virtual box. I will start my lab in the virtual box. And see, in VirtualBox, I'm having these products installed. Let me close one of the installs. In different groups, I'm having my one lab setup for 2016 server. I'm having another lab for 2019 server. Another lab for one of the student called as Akine. So that student it is one-to-one batch I'm running for that student. And this is my weekend batch setup for 2019. This is for my MCSA course and MCSA batch, and I'm having similar setup in my VMware workstation also. So this is my VMware workstation, and you can see I'm having my domain controller. I'm having similar setup here running for my other batches. So sometime I'm using VMware workstation, sometime I'm using VirtualBox. Okay, so which one is better? If you ask me, VirtualBox is better. Now in the VirtualBox, I will go and install here new virtual machine, and for that reason, I will just select here in the group menu under VirtualBox Manager. Just need to install this VirtualBox, and after that, you will just start this VirtualBox, and you will go to the group menu and select this new machine, and then you will just specify your one virtual machine name. So this is my server 2019. And this is for demo session. Let's give the name webinar setup so that I can identify it later on. And then I will select which operating system I need to install. I will select Windows, and I will select here from the list. I will go with Windows 2019 server, 64-bit OS. Just say next. And then it will ask you for the RAM. I will continue with 2 GB RAM. What is that 2 GB? That is a virtual machine memory. So that is the RAM my virtual machine will receive. When you want to install Windows Server in a graphical user interface, you need to have 2 GB RAM given. So 2 GB RAM is compulsory required for graphical user interface. Else, if you go with a 512, minimum 512 MB RAM is required for Windows Server, but that is in the command line interface. It is called as server core. I will go with a 2 GB RAM, and you can see I can go up to 32 GB RAM on my laptop, because my laptop is running 32 GB RAM, and I can go and increase this as per up to this green scale, you can say, as per my hardware support. But I will make it say 2 GB for my demonstration purpose. Just say next, and then it will ask me the virtual hard disk. Virtual machine will get installed in a virtual hard disk, and I need to have that virtual hard disk allocated. So I will just continue with the default option, create a virtual hard disk now. Say next, and then it will ask me the virtual hard disk file type. And if you want to open this virtual hard disk file in Microsoft Hyper-V, you can continue with VHD. If you want to open this in a VMware workstation or VMware player, you can use VMDK. So VHD is the Hyper-V supported format, and VMDK is the supported format for VMware technologies. I will continue with VirtualBox disk image. That is a VDI first option. Next, and then it will ask me dynamically allocated as a disk space. What I mean by dynamically allocated, when you will go and store the data, then at that time it will allocate the disk space. When you select other option, fixed size, it will allocate the disk space right now. So for student point of view, which one is better? For learner point of view, I will select dynamically allocated, because it will be faster, and it will not consume the hard disk space from my physical laptop. So it will not pre-allocate the hard disk space. Where is the space limit? I will just say next, and it will show me the space limit. And see here in my directory, in my document directory, it will it is in my profile directory. The directory is called as VirtualBox VM, near to document directory, you can say. And here the subdirectories got created for my virtual machine, and then I will specify here the hard disk space, say 100 GB, minimum 100 GB. What Microsoft says on C drive, you need to have at least 32 GB hard disk space. 32 GB hard disk space should be there. I will continue with 100 GB, say next, and my OS is got provision there in the 2019 lab. I can drag and drop it outside if I want. And I can make a similar like that. I can make a group also, but I will continue here, and then I will just need to right click on that machine. I need to set something. That's the prerequisite I need to configure for that machine. So what I'm doing, I will just go in the system menu, and I will allocate more processor to speed up my installation process. So I will just go here, and I will put 4 processors for that OS. By default, 1 processor will get allocated. So the installation will be really slow. And then at this time, I can go and configure the network setting also. But I will leave the default network as a NAT network. When the installation will get completed, that Windows server will receive the internet connectivity through this NAT network, and it will automatically get activity. You can add extra network cards also, network adapters here. In VirtualBox, you can assign up to 4 network cards. It is more than enough for practice purpose. Now in the storage, I will go there and I will select my DVD drive. See here, the DVD drive is empty. I will select the DVD from here, from the pull down menu. I will select my 2019 evaluation. And if it is not listed in the menu, you can choose the disk from here. You can browse your hard drive. See, after download, I downloaded this last year, this 2019 evaluation copy. I downloaded in March 2019. Shows me the date. Windows 10. I'm using this Windows 10 same copy from 2017. So it's really old version I'm using, but that is Windows 10 Enterprise Edition. So I downloaded this few years ago, and I'm using that again and again because Windows 10 is valid OS. So 2016 also I'm having in my download folder, because sometime I'm teaching on 2016, sometime I'm teaching on 2019, but mostly I'm running more batches on 2019. From few months ago, I started that on 2019 only, because 2019 is getting popular. For MCSA course also, for Windows Server administration course also, I'm running these batches in 2019 because 2019 is the latest OS. So I will select 2019 for this demonstration also. I will attach the ISO image here, and then I will say OK. So what I configure here in the system, I configure the processor tab, and in processor tab, I selected 4 core processors, and then I will go in the storage. I attach my CD, that ISO image to that CD using this browse button. So this is the browse button, and I selected my ISO image there, and I will say OK. Now I will boot my machine. Will double click on that machine, and it will start. Same process I will repeat for my Windows 10 OS. So it will ask me again startup disk, and this time if you forgot to configure that ISO image, this time it is your last chance to get that ISO image selected. See here, I can select from the list, or I can browse the ISO image. First time when you boot this virtual machine, it will ask you this option. Next time it won't ask you, but you can change. Next time if you want to change the DVD, you can go to this device menu, and you can select your optical drive, and you can select your ISO image from this list, or you can browse that ISO image from this choose a disk file option. Using this option, you can go and do that. Okay, so this is your Windows server installation. It will take 5 or 10 minutes to get completed. Just wait for a few seconds. Till that time, what I will do to save my time, I will just go and install Windows 10 here. Windows 10. So the webinar says, okay. I will select Windows 10. Okay. 2 GB RAM. Okay. Create hard drive. Yes. VDI. Yes. Dynamically allocated. Yes. 50 GB hard disk space is more than enough for client OS. I got that. I can boot that Windows 10 directly, with one core, but it will be slower. And I can select my from pull down menu. I can select the ISO if it is not listed there, or I can go and browse my ISO from here. If it's not listed here, no worries. You can add the ISO. I will select Windows 10 Enterprise Edition. And I will choose that, and I will start the machine. Yes. So you will see here side by side. I'm running Windows 10 installation also and Windows Server installation also. Let me check. If you have any questions, let me check it here. Okay. So no worries. I don't see any questions till now. Okay, in server 2019, I just need to select my language. When I download this ISO, it asks me that language. I mean, it is single language ISO Microsoft have provided. But the second option I need to select very well because I'm located in India. So I will go with that time zone. So wherever you are or wherever your server is located, you just need to select the time zone of your server. I will select English India. As per your location, country or city, you can select that and just say next. And then it will ask you to install your server. I will just click this middle button, install now, and it will start the installation. I need to just specify some one or two extra options, and then installation will continue. And it will take around 10 minutes, 15 minutes as per your hardware configuration, as per your performance of your machine. It will ask you that it will take that much time. So now I got an option to select the operating system edition. It shows me standard edition, and don't continue with the default option because default option is having no graphical user interface here. This option omits most of the Windows graphical environment. It is called a server core. The default installation option is server core, so I will just skip that. I will go with the desktop environment here. Second option I will select. Desktop experience is having the graphical user interface that we need to have for as a student. And in my training, I will teach you server core also. When you will join my training course, I will teach you server core also, how to configure that through command line interface, either through command prompt or through PowerShell. So I will continue with the desktop experience for this demonstration. Then it will show me the license agreement. I will say yes, I accept the license. Continue. And then it will ask me, do you wish to install this as a custom installation? Yes, I will select that. Or do you wish to upgrade from earlier operating system? So this is my brand new hardware. It's a virtual machine, and that hardware is not running any older OS, so I can't upgrade that. I will continue with the custom installation. Then it will ask me the drive to select that on which drive I want to install. So I can see 100 GB virtual disk is got shown. I can create the partition if I want, or I can continue with the default partition scheme. So it will allocate this 100 GB partition size to my C drive. So it will take 5 or 10 minutes. Till that time, let me go with my Windows 10 installation. So this is Windows 10 webinar setup virtual machine. Now same story here. I will select my, you can see single language ISO I downloaded. I will select the time zone here. Okay. And then I will say next. And then I need to click install button. Both OS installation looks same, but only the edition selection, which edition you need to install, that edition will not get listed in Windows 10 because it is single license, single edition you got from Microsoft. So I just need to say I accept the license agreement. It is by default installing that Windows 10 Enterprise Edition. And then again, I got option for custom or upgrade. I will select custom. It asks me the hard disk. I specified 50 GB hard disk space. Say next, and then installation will continue. Okay, so let that machines install. Minimize this. I'm coming to my slides. Okay, do you have any question, guys? Anything else? So I'm installing demo machines. That was the installation of Windows Server. And no worries, if you could not understand this, could not pick up this, I'm sharing the recording also. You can watch that recording later on. No worries. Yes, because I need that machines for my practical purpose. So I just need to have that Windows installation completed. For that reason, I did that, and I need two machines there. One is client and another one is server. Ashok. And the installation is really simple. You can count that installation as like your client OS installation. Okay. Any other question, guys? Yes, my dear friends. Any other question? Yes, Shashank, absolutely right. In the first chapter itself, I'm teaching PowerShell, how to get that PowerShell command prompt open and how to run the commands for network configuration, server core configuration from that onwards. Basic Windows Server configuration from that onwards, we are covering PowerShell in each and every chapter. We need to cover that for the exam also and for this career also. So you need to have this PowerShell knowledge everywhere nowadays. But it is included in the Windows Server course, no separate course. Shashank. Yes, absolutely right. That I know. That's a mandatory thing for the system administrator job role. Not only for Windows, but for other technologies also, like Exchange Server, SharePoint Server, Office 365. You need to have the PowerShell knowledge. Okay, if you have questions, just put that in the chat window. I will be back on that questions. Let me go on my slides. See ya. So this is lesson number 1, Introduction to Server OS. Now, I just started the demonstration of the virtual machine creation because I need that virtual machine. Now let me go and talk on this for the networking technologies. So which type of networking you will have in your company. So when you are having a small scale company, let me say up to 20 computers, say 20 devices you have. It's a small scale company. Then you will go with a work group setup. Work group setup, no server OS required here. Server OS is not necessary there. So you will have only the client devices and every username password. On that small setup, every username password will get stored locally. So that is the important point. Your username password will get stored on Windows 10 devices. So what you will have here, the OS Windows 10, for example. So you will just go with Windows 10 OS. No centralized authentication authorization. So what is meant by centralized authentication authorization? Let me draw that diagram. Just here, this is your network setup. And here you will have this server. And this server is called as domain controller. D1 is the name of my server. And this server will have my database. And this database is what? This is my activity database. In technical language, it is called as ADDS database. ADDS database. And here I will create the username password. So whatever the users I'm having in my company, I will just provision that username passwords here in this database, in the Active Directory. That server is domain controller, and that server is got connected over the network. So this is your network switch, and these all are client computers you will have. And these client computers will have that user and login completed. So here, if that user login, that user will use the username password from the domain controller. So it will enter the username password from this domain controller. So this domain controller will store the username password. So when that user will log in on the computer after entering the username password, that username password will get verified from this domain controller. This process is called as authentication. This process is called as authentication. In technical language, it is a login process. Verification of the user or entity, what that user is saying, that is called as authentication. You have another process here, authorization. This process will be visible when this user will go and access some other computer. Say for example, if this user is trying to access some another computer, say this user is going to access this computer. This computer might be a file server, so might be you will have here the file server, say FS1 you have, and this user is going to access that file server, the data on that file server that user is trying to page, say files, folders, or something, whatever is got stored in that file server, that user is going to access that. Then at that time, the process, what the user is having permission, That process of permission verification is called an authorization. What I mean by authorization? If that user is authorized to access that resource or not, that is the authorization process. When the user is trying to log in, that is authentication process. So if that user is authenticated user or not, supposed to log in or not, if that user is not having correct username password enter, then user will not, or say if that user is not belonging to your company environment, he is not having username password, then that user cannot access the computer. So verification of that username password is the authentication process. And the accessing the resources, this checking permission will get processed when that user will access the resources, when that user will go and access something like file server, printer, what you have, the scanner or other resources like web server, email server, database server. Then at that time, that resource access will do this checking permission or authorization process there. Got it? So when login time, people will get that authentication process completed, and when they are accessing some resources after login, after login in that machine, they can access the resources, and that is authorization process. Now this domain technology is compulsory required for big or enterprise level setup. If you are more than 20 people, just 1 second. Now I get, just 1 second. I'm getting a Cortana message here. Cortana, yes. Cortana that is my Windows 10 installation completed. Cortana is talking with me. I just disable the Cortana. Okay. So what I'm talking about my network environment. So when you have the large setup, always you need to have this enterprise level large setup in that domain technology. So you need to use the domain technology there. Without domain, you cannot run the large company setup. And for this handling, you need to have the server OS compulsory used. It is little bit difficult, but it is easy when you manage that in a large company environment. For large setup, if you want to manage, then it will be easy. Installation and configuration will see, you will see that difficulty level at that time only. But once it is installed and configured very well, then it is easy for management purpose. Why? Because it is getting that username password stored in the centralized domain control. So what I have drawn, that DC1, that DC1 is having that username password database, and here this username password will get used for all the devices. So whatever the devices you will have in your company, that all the devices will go and get verification, that authentication process completed from that database only. Whenever this user is changing the password, on his device, that password will get synchronized to this database. Means if that user is logging to another device, that updated password will be available on that device. So this is the biggest benefit in your domain technology. Why you need to have the domain? Because it is compulsory required in big company setup. Okay, let me check if you have any questions. Yes, Ashok. Is my speed okay now? Yes, guys. You can get the notes, what slides I'm using. You can download that from this handout section. Just see in the left hand menu, you will see that handouts option, and click on that handouts, and you can download my notes, what I'm sharing with you today. So same slides I uploaded here under handouts. You can go and download that. Any question, guys? Hello. Any question? Okay. Okay, no worries. So why you need the server OS? Server OS is required there because you are using specialized hardware, and you will see that hardware. This is on my page number 5, on my notes. So on page number 5, you will see the server hardware, and the server hardware will have the specialized operating system, that is the server OS. Server OS is compulsory required to run on that hardware, because that hardware need, more processing power, and that processing will get handled by the operating system. That hardware will provide that processing power. So to get that specialized hardware utilized properly, you need to have the server OS, and you need to have the server OS, like, to run specialized softwares. For example, like a web server, email server, database server. So you need to have this software running, and these softwares cannot get executed many times on the client OS. So you need to have the server OS to execute this software. So you will make your server like a web server, email server, database server, like that. Some common example for the server operating system is Windows Server. It's very common in the market. Linux server is also very common, and Macintosh is also having the X server, Mac OS X server. We know that Apple is having that Macintosh OS as a client only, but yes, Mac server is also available there. That is for the Apple client or Macintosh client. Okay, so in Apple environment, they use that Apple OS for the server and client also. Okay, why you need this server OS? A big question. You need to have this server OS for the command line interface. So it provides the PowerShell as a common environment where you can run short commands, and you can run the script environment also. You can have the script also executed. So for automation purpose, you need to have that PowerShell, and that is available in your server OS. So server OS is required, and advanced hardware, software, and network configuration is possible in the server OS only. And business applications like CRM system, ERP system, database servers, web application servers will be available in the server OS only. So, and the awesome part is what was maintaining security and user database centralized. You need to have the server OS. You need to have the server OS. So server OS will maintain that everything, and you can monitor your clients and devices also from the server OS. You can have the specialized software installed in that server, and you can have remotely that all the things like monitoring, management, administration happen from that centralized server. It's called as remote administration. Now, what is domain controller? Domain controller is a server that responds to security authentication request. That is the username password verification. What is saying in simple language? Logging process. So when people try to log in, that domain controller will respond to that process. So what this logging will have, that is the database, activity database. In Microsoft environment, it is called as activity, and that activity database will have the username password stored. And this domain controller environment, Microsoft have released this in first time in Windows NT. How many years ago? Nearly 25 years ago, Microsoft released this Windows NT OS. And from that Windows NT, they introduced this word called as domain controller. So that controls the domain. It's like a traffic controller, you can say, that controls your domain. So it is called as domain controller. Domain is what? Domain is a networking environment. And in Wikipedia, you will see this simple definition. I'm sharing here the URL. You can go on that page number 7, and you can just click on that URL to see that information from Wikipedia. What is domain control? In short, domain control is a central piece of Windows Active Directory service. So you need to have that Active Directory service running in that domain control. So don't worry. I'm going to show you the practical part on this. What is domain controller? How to install this Active Directory? So you will get this idea clear. The most important question: do you need to have the domain control? Yes. For any business, small to medium size, whatever your business size is, you need to have your customer data stored, and that customer data, like database server data or normal your company users data stored, and that will get managed in the domain control. So generally, yes, you need to have the domain control, at least one domain control in your company. Recommended is what? You need to have more than one. At least minimum 2 domain controllers you need to have in your company. And here in the installation process, I shown you this screen, how to install this Windows 2019 server. And I discussed that the minimum requirement for Windows server is 1.4 gigahertz 64-bit processor. We are always getting more than this, greater than this value. RAM 512 MB RAM is recommended for command line, that is server core. 2 GB or more is recommended for your graphical user interface, desktop experience. Hard disk space, 32 GB hard disk space required. Network card and CD drive, keyboard, mouse, internet connectivity is a prerequisite, you can say. Once you have your server installed, you will see the server manager. Okay, let me show you. Yeah, I will switch to my Windows server. See here. This Windows Server, after that installation process, it will ask me the password for the administrator. I will type here the password. I can see that password when I click this icon. I can see the password what I type, and I will just click finish. And same thing, you can see here now it shows me control delete login process. Now I will do this process on my Windows 10 device also. I will switch to Windows 10, and see it is asking me some region. So where I'm located, this is Windows 10 configuration process. So I will select here alphabetically sorted. It is my country. I'm located in India. It says the browser setting there. Okay, it asked me the keyboard layout. I will continue with English India. Want to add a second keyboard? I will say skip, and it will ask me the username password. Okay, now it will go and consume my bandwidth to download the service pack patches. So what I will do, I will go in the setting, and I will just remove the network card setting there. So I will go in the virtual machine setting, and I will say not connected to the network just to save my bandwidth. Okay, we will be back on that Windows 10 device after a few minutes because it is checking over the internet. My internet is disconnected from that machine. Now I will bring my Windows server in front of me, and it shows me Control Delete to unlock the server. I can I can press here the shortcut key from this input menu. I can go there and I can select the keyboard, and I can select the shortcut, that is host and delete. In the virtual box, the host key is control right hand control key, right hand control key from the right hand side, and the delete key. Or you can go to this input menu, select keyboard, and you can select here control or delete, and then you can enter the password what you enter at the time of installation. See, Windows 10 stuck in that screen. But no worries, it will be back. And now you can move your mouse outside of this virtual machine by pressing right hand control key only. So you just need to press right hand control key. Now for faster performance, you will see this Windows 10, Windows 2019 server in a small screen. It's not making the full screen. You will see when I'm making view full screen from view menu, when I'm selecting full screen, then also it shows me black patches at the left hand side and right hand side. Screen resolution did not get adjusted. So what I will do, I will just install one tool here. That tool is called as Guest Addition CD. So this is similar like in VMware. It is called as VMware tools. So it will run one program there, and that program we need to execute that program. That will install display card, sound card, and network card device drivers, extra device drivers to improve the speed of your operating system. So I will just go on that DVD drive. When you select this device menu, insert guest edition CD image, it will have this DVD attached. Now I can go there on that DVD drive, and I will just start this AMD 64-bit that executable I need to start. Say next. Next, you don't need to configure anything. Just say next one or two times, and then it will show you the pop-up for device driver error. So do you wish to install this? I got a message. Would like to install this device software? I will say yes. At the end of this program installation, it will ask me to restart the server. So I will continue with that, and you will see at the bottom on my right hand bottom screen, on my desktop, I got that option, Windows 2019 Standard Edition, valid for 180 days. It is the evaluation copy. So my program has got installed. Now it is asking me to reboot. I will say finish, and then it will restart my server OS. What I'm doing, I'm installing this domain controller domain controller and the OS here in this first machine. And in the second machine, I will go and install my client operating system. And client operating system is already got installed. I think it got stuck. So let me restart this machine. Reset is the shortcut key for rebooting your virtual machine, because that internet did not get detected there in that virtual machine, and it's not continuing from that screen onwards. So I just reset the machine using this file menu and reset command. Okay, so don't get confused. I'm having one server here running in one virtual machine, and now you will see the magic when I will go and make it full screen. it will adjust the screen resolution. Let me log in. So right hand control and delete key is the shortcut key for keyboard. Control delete, and then I will type my password, and you will see magically it will fit the resolution on my screen. Full screen will automatically get adjusted. This is the black patch here. It's the left hand side and right hand side. Once the software tool will get started, it will be available here in the tray. It will start that tool. It's called as guest edition tool, VMware. VirtualBox guest edition tools, and it will automatically adjust the screen resolution. Yes, now you will see my screen resolution is better now. So you will see my server has got full screen there. My server has got full screen there. So for this reason, and see here, whenever I'm adjusting my screen, automatically it will adjust the screen resolution of my Windows server. So whenever I'm adjusting my window size, it fits that window. Okay. So let's check what about Windows 10. Yes, yeah. Windows 10 installation is a little bit slow. Okay, did not find any network card. Let me go and put that network card. I will put this machine in the internal network. So no internet will be available because it will consume my live bandwidth. What I'm using, for this live session, it should not get consumed for this Windows update. Else, what will happen? That Windows update will continue on the internet and it will consume my bandwidth while in live training. So I will do that later on when I will get a time. So this is my Windows server, and in this Windows server, when you start this Windows server first time, this server manager will start automatically. What is this server manager? You will see that server manager. Server, we are giving more focus on the server OS only because server OS is having market demand. You need to understand the server OS. Client is not having anything there to get configured because many times we do not configure client OS. We just need to connect that client OS to the server. That's the only thing we need to do. But here on server, we need to configure server host name, and we need to install some roles and feature. We need to configure a lot of things in the server OS only, like storage configuration, networking configuration, and blah blah blah. So server OS is more important, and you will get a more job and career opportunities in the server OS only. So once you have this Windows log on, then you will see the server manager. Then you will go to local servers, and here you need to rename your computer. See, by default, Windows is giving this randomly assigned host name for your computer, and you will not have the network card also assigned that manual IP address. So you are getting that IP address automatically from my NAT network. That is my VirtualBox is assigning that IP. So I need to configure two main components. One is computer name, and you will see in server manager along with this computer name and IP setting, I can go and configure a lot of things. Like I can configure firewall, I can configure remote desktop or remote management setting. I can go and change the product key also. If I'm having a licensed product key, I can go and click that product key and I can change the product key here. I can put the product key, and I will take this machine out of evaluation. So it is showing me it is evaluation copy. You can see on the desktop also it is evaluation copy. But I can go and have my product key enter, and I can convert this server to full version after entering my product key. And I can configure my antivirus setting also, defender setting also. I can configure my update setting also. I can configure my time zone also. And it shows me my hardware configuration also, what hardware I'm running in that OS and which is the OS version also it shows. Now what I need to do first, I need to rename my computer. I will click here in computer, that hyperlink under local servers. From where I got this server manager. If you miss this here, server manager automatically when you log into server, automatically server manager start. And if you close that, no worries, just go to start menu, and here you will see the icon there on the start, that item list, server manager. Click on that first icon, and that is your server manager. Server manager starts always there whenever you start Windows Server. It is the default nature of server manager. And then after that server manager, I will go to local servers, and I just need to rename my computer because randomly assigned host name is given to this computer. So I will just click here, and I will click change button, and I will just give the name for this computer as domain controller 1, TC1. If I'm already having domain environment, I can connect this machine from workgroup to domain. So this option will help me to do that. But I don't have any domain. So, it is my fresh setup in the lab. So I will just start with a default option, workgroup. So I just need to rename the computer, and after reboot, yeah, it will ask me to reboot. After reboot, I will install the domain environment on this machine. You must restart. I should say yes, close. It will remind me again, restart now. Let me check intermittently with my Windows 10 client. Aha, it's stuck again. So I reset that Windows 10 machine again. Let's check with your server. Yeah, server is also booting. Okay, so I will right hand control and delete key I will press for login. That's my local administrator password I need to enter. When I install Windows Server, I configured that password, and automatically Server Manager will start, as I said. And the second thing you need to configure in your server is your IP address of the server. Okay, so where I can configure, again after server manager will be back, go to local servers and select under properties, select your Ethernet. So just click on that or your mouse on that hyperlink IPv4, and then double click on that icon and configure your IP address here. So double click on that IPv4, TCP IP. TCP IPv4 is the protocol Windows Server uses. Now I will configure here first IP address of my company. So this is my B class IP address 172.168.1.1, and I will leave the default gateway blank. Subnet mask will automatically get added there. It is B class IP address. Default gateway is a router IP address. I don't have that router in my virtual lab, so I will skip that, and I will switch to DNS server, and I will enter own IP address 172.168.1.1, because this server will have the DNS service also installed. So I'm just typing that same IP address here. I will say OK, OK, close, and that's all. You just refresh your server manager, it will show you the IP address here. Perfect. Now what I forgot, I just forgot to configure the network card setting of this virtual machine after installation. This machine is got activated over the internet, and it shows you, yeah, it is valid for 180 days after activation. It shows me that. And now the next thing, I need to configure this machine in the same network as my client operating system. So every machine in my virtual environment will be in that network. It's also called a virtual switch, you can say. So this is my network in under, let me show you from where I got this command. Machine menu, I will go to setting, and then I will go to network, and then I will go and select here internal network. So all my clients and server are in the same network environment. So I will continue with the internal network. Internal network will not have the internet access. If you want to have internet access, then you can either use NAT network for internet connectivity, or you can use this bridge adapter. Bridge adapter is for sending the data through the physical switches and physical router in your company environment. But I'm keeping this lab private to this laptop only. Then I'm using this internal network here. Very good. And after this server configuration, this setup configuration, what I configured till now, let me show you in my server. I configured the host name and I configured the IP address only. Two basic configuration I completed. Now the next thing, I will return to dashboard, and I will install here the roles and feature. Roles and features are what? These are the components your server will perform, need to have to perform activity in your company, like a domain controller, like a file server, like a web server. These components are called as roles and feature. So what this server will do in my company, that is the role. And feature is what? Feature is a small feature. So some add-on component, you can say, small component you can say. That is called as feature. For example, PowerShell is a feature. Windows Server Backup is a feature. Windows Failover Cluster is a feature. When you join my training course, I will teach you that PowerShell, Windows Failover Cluster, and lot of components. Backup also. But right now, I will go and install a bigger role for this demonstration. And that role, I will just need to click that hyperlink. See here, where I click under dashboard, I select add roles and feature. Then I select next, and then I will continue with the role base or feature based installation. So next, and then it will ask me on which server. I'm selecting the DC1 only. I'm on only single server there. Just say next, and then I will select the important domain controller service. This time it's called an Active Directory domain service because this is my DC1. As the name says, it is domain control. So I need to have my Active Directory service installed. So I will just select here Active Directory domain service, Active Directory domain services. And it will ask me to install some features also. It will show me the prompt. Yes, I want that. Management tools also I want. So I will click here, add features and tools. And if you want to install, say later on when you run this wizard again, then you can install DHCP, DNS, or Hyper-V. Oh, sorry, DNS is built in the Active Directory domain service, so DNS will get installed. But later on, you can install DHCP, Hyper-V, or other roles also, web server or deployment services. And extra software like SQL Server, Oracle database will not get listed. That you need to download separately. You need to download from that Microsoft website or Oracle website, and then you need to install. So what Windows can build, inbuilt in the Windows can have the Windows in the DVD. That roles are got shown here. So I'm selecting Active Directory domain service, and if you want to install features, small components, what I said, like Docker container. Yes, Docker container is a new feature in 2019, 2016 server. So that also you can install. What I said, failover cluster, that also you can install. So I'm going to teach you this failover cluster also. It's a really important component in Active Directory environment. And IPAM server is also important for managing multiple DHCP, multiple DNS servers. And you have a lot of lists here, big list like Windows Server Backup System, for example. You want to install the backup and all that. PowerShell is by default installed. You will see PowerShell 5.1 is by default installed in your 2019 server. So just select what you need. I just selected here only the first one, second one, Active Directory domain service, because that is my domain control. I'll just say next, next, and then it will remind me for Active Directory domain service theory. It will ask me for the Azure Active Directory hyperlinks also shown there. So if you want to configure this directory service in Microsoft Azure, that is a public cloud, you can go and learn about that also from here. You need to have internet connectivity. Just say next and install. Once the installation will get completed, then it will prompt me for the configuration there. Okay, let me check if you have any question till now. Okay, I don't see any question. Okay, let's see what my Windows 10 client is doing. Yeah, it's asking me for the language. What is this? See, keyboard layout. Okay, what language do you want to use for second keyboard layout? No, I don't want. Where is the cancel button? Make it full screen. English I will select. I don't have cancel button. Just say next. Which keyboard level you would like to use? English. Okay. It is asking me to connect to the network. Skip for now. It's Windows 10 configuration. It's first boost configuration. Then who is going to use this PC? I will put my name. My name is Manoj. I will say Manoj. And it is asking me password. I will type my default password. Confirm your password. Password hint. Our lab password. I use normally this password for our lab setup. It asks you a lot of privacy setting. I will just accept the default one. And it will configure the Windows, that user profile. It will take 1 or 2 minutes again. Windows 10 installation is slow. Server is fast. Okay. Okay. Now you will see here, I got a screen to get this server configuration. Only the installation is got completed. Now configuration is pending, and I can click this hyperlink, or I can close this, and I can see the in the notification screen, I can see that option, promote this server as domain controller. I will click that, and then it will ask me, do you wish to install this server as a domain controller to an existing domain? I don't have any domain. When you select that, if you need this server as an additional domain controller, second DC you are installing, then you will go with that first option. Add a new domain to an existing forest. You want to make this as a branch office setup, it's called a child domain. You can select that child domain option here. Or if you want to install this as a new forest, so forest is what? Forest is an enterprise level boundary where your administrative activities will end. You will have, that is the network boundary of your company. That is also called as logical boundary of your company for administration responsibilities, where your responsibilities will end. So you just need to select this last option for your first server. So forest is what? Forest is a boundary of your company, and that forest will have the domain name also asked. That will ask as a root domain name, and that root domain name will be given as a forest name. So forest will get identified using this root domain name only. So this time this domain name is my company. So this is my company, say certificationguru.org. I want to set this. In many companies they use .local also. .local to show it is local domain name, and .net, .org or .com will be for the internet domain name. I'm using same as my website domain name. You can continue with whatever you have, abc.com or xyz.com. You can go with that. Now I'm going with my company name. Then it will ask you functional level for the forest and root domain. This functional level will set the domain controller level support, which OS you want to install as a domain controller. So you can go and select here, if you have the older licenses to use in your company environment along with this 2019 server, you can select this older support. So you can continue with the older support if you want to use older licenses there. So if you are not going with older licenses, you can continue with the default option. And then as I said, it install the DNS server. DNS server is compulsory required for your Active Directory environment for name resolution purpose. And then it will ask you the administrative Active Directory restore more password. For as an administrator, this password is required when you want to restore from the backup. If Active Directory got corrupt, and if you have the backup, then this mode, it is similar like sep mode with command prompt. So this is Active Directory repair mode or restore mode, and then you will have your this password entered at that time. Many time what companies do, they use the same password as like your administrator password for your backup restoration process from the backup, that activity restore process. So you need to type that password, say next, and then it will give the DNS error because I do not have the internet connectivity, and that domain name did not get verified. And this is required thing when you want to have the VPN access, or outside of your company, when people want to access this, then only this is required. See here, just go on the last sentence, from outside the domain certificationguru.org. Otherwise, no action is required. People cannot see this, cannot find this domain controller. I will say okay, no problem. So it's just a warning. It's not an error. We'll continue with the next. And then it will give me the net bias name. What is net bias name? It is the short name of your activity. It belongs to 14 character only. So it shows you that a small a domain name of your company. If my domain name is very long, it will get that short name will get used for login purpose. Sometimes people use this short name for login purpose. It's called a net bias name of your domain environment. I will just say next. It removes the .com or .net, whatever you type, that extension will get removed in the net bias name. Then it will ask you your location where this activity will get installed in these directories, database folder, log file folder, sysvol folder. Database and log we normally keep in the same directory. Sysvol folder is used for activity group policy synchronization. So when you have multiple domain controllers and you have the activity synchronization, activity group policies defined, or you can have the log on, log off, log on, and log off script defined. That script also will get synchronized through this sysvol folder. There is no reason to change this. I can continue with the default option. And then it will show me the confirmation screen. See what it says in the wizard. It says configure this server as a first Active Directory domain controller in a new forest. So I'm creating a new forest. in that forest, the new domain will get generated. The forest name and domain name will be certificationguru.org, your organization name. NetBuy's name of your domain will be this one, short name. And forest function level, global catalog, and blah 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 option is got shown here. And I will just say next. And you can see the PowerShell script behind the screen. Just here, you click View Script, and you will see the PowerShell options. This PowerShell command, this is a long command. This one, second command. So this is long command with that parameters. So that is a backtick symbol, and this is the CM delete, and then it is running behind the screen. There's many options. So when you run this wizard, this graphical tool, it is running at the back end. It is running that PowerShell script, and you can see that PowerShell script at this time. I will say next. We need to wait for 1 or 2 minutes to get this prerequisite verified, and we need to click this install button. Once install button we will click, then installation will get completed within 1 or 2 minutes. We will be back on this machine after 1 or 2 minutes. Let me check with my slides. Okay. Do you have any question, my dear friends, till now? Are you getting my point? What I'm teaching? I'm teaching you to install Active Directory. I'm teaching you to install Active Directory on the domain controller. So that is the domain environment demonstration I'm showing you. Any question? Yes, my dear friends. Okay, that's good. If you have any question, you can put that in the chat window, or if you want to talk with me in the live chat, you can put that. Yeah, and I will allow you to get the voice access there. Yeah, some people got microphone access there. You can unmute yourself. Some people did not get, but you can ask me that voice access, and I can give that voice access to ask that question in the live. Okay, so I'm returning on my slide. So what I'm discussing in the theory, you got your Windows Server installed, and this is the server manager on page number 9 I'm discussing. Now from this server manager, you can configure different aspects of your Windows Server, 2019 and 2016 server. You can configure the IP address, you can configure the host name, activity domain joining options are there. Time zone also you can configure, automatic update also you can configure from these different options, that options I have shown you. So when you have that options shown there in the local servers, you can go and configure that one by one. You don't need to fight with the control panel. Basically, in your client OS, you need to go and configure these different options from the control panel. Now, in the server manager in your Windows Server OS 2016, 2019, this latest OS, you will see the server manager. Server manager is having that everything available built in the server itself. So you need to go with the server manager and understand that server manager for this configuration purpose. Now I already have started these demos, for Windows Server rules and feature installation. See here, this is my demo. First demo I already have shown you for domain environment. After this demo, once that activity will get installed, then I will go and create the users, and I will connect my Windows client OS in the domain. And then I will log in on the client OS, and then I will show you different roles also, file server DNS. We will discuss that roles also. Now for this demo, I already have shown you the IP address setup, and see here, this is my IP address setup, what I shown for you from the server manager. As per your company setup, I mostly go with first IP on my DC1. So I'm typing that first IP and same IP for my DNS also. And then you will go with add roles and server wizard, and then I selected Active Directory domain service wizard for installing Active Directory. Okay, let that Active Directory install completely, and we are having our client also ready. And see, this is the client, and we need to put this client in the same network environment. So we'll get on the client. I will say, yeah, Mr. Client, you are here. Now I need to go on the client. I need to configure the network card setting, because without network card setting, this client will not get connected to the network server. So I will go in the show available networks. Yeah, it's already there. So change adapter, or you can go to control panel and you can modify the IP setting of that from control panel, the network card IP, network card setting. So here is my client device IP address 1.11. I don't have default gateway. In the virtual environment, you don't need default gateway. You need this default gateway for your production environment when you have the routers there. So for internet access, you need to have the default gateway given as a router IP address. So what is my IP address for this client? 1.11. Just imagine I am having 10 DCs there, DC1 to DC10 in my company setup in one location. So I will assign 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 like this 10 IPs I reserve for my servers, different servers, and I'm continuing with my next IP, on my client devices. So when my client will have a different IP, but it should be in the same network. And what is preferred DNS server? That is my domain control IP address, because that domain control is running the DNS service also. I will say okay. I will say okay, and I will close this. And just to verify this client connectivity, what I can do, I will just open the command prompt on this machine. Command prompt cmd I type, and then I will run the command, that is the ping command. So ping, I will type here DC1. If you have the by default that DC running there, it will have the IPv6 by default assigned. See here, every client device and server device is having IPv6 by default. But in company environment, we do not use IPv6. We go with IPv4 for our application, for our technical support, and it is easy to remember. IPv6 is default. When you type your ping command with a host name, then it will go on the IPv6. So better is type your FQDN or type IP address of your server, 172.16.1.1. If the server is running, it will give me the reply. It will give me the reply. And if you did not get this reply, it means you need to check with the network setting of this machine. So you need to go in the machine setting of your virtual box, virtual machine, go to setting, and then go to network and take care there both the devices, your server and client, or whatever the setup you have, how many servers you have, all should be in the same network. This is like a same switch network environment, you can say, same switch environment, you can say. So if these devices are on different IP, or sorry, different network, let me show you the demo. Suppose if I'm selecting a NAT, and I will say okay, and when I try to run that ping command, I will get an error. It gives me the error. So it's not reaching to my domain controller. Request timeout I'm getting. Why? Because it is not in the same network. It is not getting the same network. So I need to take care there. It's like your physical switch network environment, you can say. So this is virtual switch. I'm keeping my all the machines in the internal network. So no internet connectivity required there in my virtual environment. See here. I got my machine with a reply from my domain. And now I will check my domain controller, what that domain controller is doing. Yeah, domain controller is getting ready and it is installing my activity. After installation, it will reboot the server 1 or 2 times, and then it will be back with my activity database. And then I will create the username, password, and then I will have this client computer also connected to this domain. Till that time, let me check my client computer host name. From where you can find the host name of your client computer. You can go to client computer, my computer. Now open the my computer, open this PC, right click, open the property of this PC, and you will see the host name. Yeah, it is having the computer name called as desktop. Okay, so you can click this change button. Till that time, I will go and change the host name and I will reboot this Windows 10 device. Okay, I will just click change. When I want to connect that to my this Windows server, I will select domain, but I will do that later on. Let me type here Windows 10 desktop, desktop 1. I just type or short you can type here desktop 1 only. So it's a client 1 or desktop 1, whatever you want in your company. What the policies they have, naming policies, you need to follow that company naming policy. So like this desktop 1, desktop 2, like that they give the names. Or client 1, sometimes they type short PC1, PC2 for client devices. So it is up to the company business or company decision makers what name they need to assign for the devices. Okay, you can remove this DVD if it asks you every time. So how you can remove the DVD from devices menu? Select this remove disk from virtual. So next time when it reboots, it is not asking you that. Okay. So see here on your server is getting back. When you set the time zone, as per your time zone, your devices will show the date and time. So you can see my time zone, what I said, is Indian IST time zone. So I got that time perfectly synchronized with my virtual machines. This activity configuration need to have that group policy and lot of things updated in the Windows server. So it will take 1 or 2 minutes to configure that server. It is one time activity only, and once you will log in, you can go and create usernames. You can set the password. You can add that users in the department that is called as groups. You can assign there for that user. Like say for example, you are having group for sales department, you have the group for account department, you have the group for purchase department. Like that you can make the groups, and you can put the users and computer and the groups also in the container. That container is called as organizational unit. So what I mean, let me talk on that till this server will reboot. So you will manage your servers. Yeah. So you will manage your servers using this users group and this concept. So you will have users in Active Directory. So Active Directory will store one users. Those users will log in. Second, will have the groups also. So groups is what? Collection of users, based on the department, based on the location. Say you will have the department groups like sales group, sales underscore GRP, purchase underscore GRP, like this. So the users belong to purchase department, and you can say marketing also. So, and you will put these users in the particular group. So these users which belong to that particular department, or might be you can create the groups based on location. Say London users, so I will have the London GRP. India users, okay, I will say India GRP, like that. The third one is your computer objects. Computer objects, and these computer objects are your devices. These are your Windows 10 or member servers, say Windows servers, Windows server operating systems. So these are computer objects, and both users group or computer objects, all you can say, you can put that in a container. That container in the technical language, it is called as organization unit. You will see default containers also, but we create the container called as OU, organizational unit. Organizational unit. So what is organizational unit? That is, in technical language you say folder, or simple language you will say folder. In technical language it is called as organizational unit, folder or directory. And in this container or in this folder, you will put your users, you will put your group. So you will collect that users all together in a specific container. So that is your organizational unit. Okay, so let me return on my server. Where is my server? So here it's not yet completed. Yeah, it configures that activity first time. And it's not the problem of your laptop or desktop, it's OS. It's a very heavy configuration. Let me show you in my task manager. So my CPU utilization is not going here, going above some percentage, 20 or 30% CPU. So it's not the problem of my CPU. I'm getting 3.6 is dynamically mapped CPU. So it's dynamically that CPU will get arranged. Physical CPU is 1.8 gigahertz, but I'm having multiple cores there, so the speed will get improved, dynamically boosted. Memory, it's not the problem of memory also. I'm having 32 GB RAM, and it shows me the memory. So it's not the problem of memory also. And not the problem of disk also, because you will see my disk. I'm having both the disk on my laptop, C drive and D drive. Both the disks are SSD disk for my, when I'm talking, at that speed it should match. So for that reason, I'm having faster disk on my laptop attached. So it's not the problem of disk also. It's not problem of memory also. It's not the problem of CPU also. Then it is the configuration setting what Windows need to have in that OS. So first time it is configuring that database, and that database configuration is very heavy. It takes that much time. So I started, do you remember? I started this demo, this OS installation at the start only of our today's session. In today's session, immediately I started the OS installation because I know this should get completed within 1.5 hours. So I know the speed and performance of this, all the processes. I'm teaching this Windows since from NT4, say more than 22 years I'm teaching Windows. So I know a lot of ins and outs in the Windows. And don't worry, I will teach you a lot of things in Windows, including group policy, DHCP, DNS, these rules, and critical configurations also. For example, you forgot the administrator password, you forgot the directory restore more password, you forgot the administrator password of your domain environment. No worries, I will go and configure, I will show you that demos also. So our training course will be very heavy in the point of view of technical details. So whatever you need in your business, that all the roles and services we will cover, along with the small topics like how to take the backup, how to restore the backup, how to configure this role and that role. There are many roles we need to understand, including Hyper-V, Docker container, PowerShell, DHCP, DNS, and file server also, distributed file server also, Windows payload cluster also. So, and new components like Docker container, FSRM, file server resource manager, and distributed file system. These are the high availability components in Windows. So we need to go and learn that also, along with general rules like DHCP, DNS, WDS, WSUS, OS deployment, and update management technologies there in Windows Server. So don't worry. So we will take a lot of time in that. More than 1 month is required, more than 2 months is required in the weekend batches to understand these roles and services. Normally, it takes approximately 8 weekends for my Windows Server course. 8 weekends means you can say more than 2 months on weekends only, like Saturday only or Sunday only, like that. And for regular, within 1 month, because regular batches I'm running as one-to-one batches there. One-to-one batches will goes like 2 hours every day, maximum 2 hours. It varies from 1.5 hour to 2 hours every day, from Monday to Friday. Say 4 or 5 sessions every week, minimum 4 sessions. In one-to-one, I'm taking that regular batches, and for weekend, I'm taking that shared or group batches there. And total course duration will be around what I can say, nearly 30 hours approximately. So 30 to 32 hours duration we need. It varies based on your performance, based on your based on the batch also, and based on your when you go for one-to-one batches, then based on your personal experience and speed, you can go and match that. So there will not be any hurry in that. So we need to, this is webinar. If I'm taking this webinar, say for 2 hours or more than 5 hours like that, then you will not attending this. You will not be here sitting in front of the screen, because it is free webinar. When you put your money, then you will learn sincerely. That's my experience. So you need to put more man hours understanding this concept and doing the practical part. I'm mostly going in more practical way only. I'm sharing my notes, theoretical slides and all that thing. When the batch will start, I will share that material with you so that you can be ready before I will teach that topic, or you will read that at your own time. Yeah, my server is ready, but I will go mostly on the practical parts only. So it's like a hands-on demonstration I perform many times. And for theory, I'm sharing these notes. So you will get the notes and you can read this theoretical part at your own time. So no worries about that. I don't need to put my man hours to explain you that theory when I'm having that notes shared with you. But I will cover the practical part of that theory, because practical part is really important in your real life. Okay, so here, Shashank, for shared or one-to-one batch, we can start at any time. Yes. Okay. Just see here. Now, after logging to my server, I can see under tools menu, I got lot of activity related tools. The most important useful tool we use normally is activity users and computer. And now I will show you my Windows 10 device is not connected here. When you go and open this console, From where I got this console, let me show you. From server manager, tools menu, I got activity users computer. This is activity main console, and here I can see my domain, and I can see under that domain my built-in groups are already generated. So these are the ready groups. So for different reasons, these groups are already got stored, and you will see the computers here. Computers are your devices. So under domain controls, you will see your domain control is got listed, but computers are your client devices. And I can go and see my users also. The default only one user is there, administrator. Another user is guest, but it is disabled. It is disabled. Now I will go and show you here the user and group that concept. But before going on that, I need to create the organization unit to store that specific for specific business purpose or business unit or department purpose. So I will go and create this organization unit, and this is the organization unit for sales department. So I will just type here sales OU as a name. I will leave this protection on for this container, and then in that container, that OU, I will go and create the user. So this is the button, this button, or you can right click here in the empty array, you will select the new command, or you can run this commands from action menu also. You will go to action menu and you will select your new, and you can create the user. I will select the user. Now this is my sales user. So I will type here sales1 as the username. You can type any whatever you want. You can go with specific username there. I will just go and type sales1. Say next, and then I will type the password for this user. 2 times I need to type the password, and then user must change password at next logon because this is business default password in your company. So you will allow that user to modify this password. I will remove this, and I will just say next and say finish. So I got my one user added. Then I will create a group here. Group is what? Collection of user based on the department, based on the location. So I will create here the group. This group name is sales underscore GRP. So for my business unit, my business department, sales department, I'm creating group called as sales group. The group type is security. To assign the permissions, we normally go with security group. For sending emails, then you need to go with a distribution type of group. For sending bulk emails, so distribution is like a distribution list. That is a distribution group. I will go with a security group as a default type, and then I can leave the default group scope. So what is domain local? This group will be available to this domain only. Global and universal will make that group available in other domains also. Other your business unit, like in forest, entire forest, or in child domain and parent domain also. I will go with the default group scope. I can modify this later on. No worries, no strict rule there. So if you can't decide this, just go with the default option. And this is your group. You open this group, and then you will go to the members tab, sorry, and you can add your user there. So I will add here the user called as sales. I'll just type few character. I will select that that button, check name, and then it will ask me which you want to add. So I will select sales1 user. Okay. When the sales1 user is got added in this group, in this way I can add, or I can right click on that user and I can select here the command called as add to group. So I can select that, and I can select the group name, say sales, check name, and then it will complete that. So I can have, now it will give me the error successfully. The add group operation was successfully completed. Okay, so twice it is got added. No, it's added one time only, but that verification did not get completed. I can see there in sales group the member tab shows only one sales1 there. Now if I want to create similar type of users, I can copy this user using this is called as template concept. So I will just copy this user multiple times. Say this is sales2. Sales2 is what? Sales2 is my second user. So next, I type the password, and you will see from that sales1 user, I got some properties copied. For example, this change password at next login I did not have selected. I removed that, so it is again copied there for sales2 also. So like this, I can add the users and group. Now the next story, last story, what we need to have is our client connectivity. So in computers, you will see that computer should get connected. So when I will go to my client device, yes, this is my client computer, and to this client computer, I will connect this client computer to the domain environment. To this client computer, I will configure that setup from work group. I'm moving this computer from work group to the domain environment. so that sales 1 user or sales 2 user can log in from here. You can make as per your requirement. You can make as many as OUs. There is no restriction. You can make as many as OUs, as many as groups, and you can make n number of users also there. So no restriction. Okay. So just go to my computer properties. I will go with this PC property, and then click here because it is in work group environment. I will click change setting, and I will go in the change, and then I will put my domain here. Under domain name, I will type here by field. I will type my domain name, and then it will ask me the username. I will type here administrator. You can type standard username also. Yes, standard user also can connect this machine. 10 computers client standard user can connect to the domain. It shows me welcome, and it asks me to remind me to reboot the server. Sorry, this client computer. I should say restart. This Windows 10 will restart, and once it will reboot, I will get this client computer used for my user login. So my standard users or whatever the users I'm having, those users will log in on this client computer. No, Daniel, there is no limit. They are having the CAN licenses there. So, when you have that devices connectivity, that devices license you need to purchase. Only that limit is there. So you don't have any user limit. So how many people will log in or how many devices you will connect? That licenses you need to take care for that. That's a legal restriction, you can say. There is no software restriction here, Daniel. So your Windows will not say no. You can create 10, 20, 100 and thousands and millions of users here in the Windows server. Because it is software. Option and then I will type here sales 1. I Windows 10, I don't have this sales 1 generated. I type my password and that Windows 10 will allow that sales 1 user to log into this client computer. So it will be ready within 1 or 2 minutes. Okay. Now let me go on my slides. So after this demonstration, after this Windows Server installation, you can install some additional rules. Like for example, file server you can install to make a share folder and have that share data available to your client devices. So all the client devices connected to that file server role is also available. Then you can have file server for sharing files. You have another one is Hyper-V also. Hyper-V is available in physical environment. VirtualBox do not support this, or I can try this VMware Workstation player also for Hyper-V practice. This is virtualization solution from Microsoft. So this is server virtualization solution from Microsoft on built in the Windows server. So you will get this Hyper-V server, Hyper-V role you can install. You can install this DHCP, DNS roles also. DHCP is for what? For assigning IP addresses automatically. See here, these are the IP addresses. This DHCP server is having. It's called a scope, and in that scope, it's this database. You can say in that scope, these IPs are available there, and on first come first serve basis, it will assign these IPs to your client devices automatically. So client devices will receive the TCP/IP configuration automatically. So it is called as dynamic host configuration protocol. Dynamic host configuration. So you will dynamically configure your client devices, through this technology. It's called as DHCP server. So you will have the DHCP server also running in your company. For name resolution, say for example, you want to have something like a website, www.yourcompany.com, yourcompany.com, and then your people, your users cannot remember this IP addresses. So what you will do in your DNS records, you will go to DNS server. That's called as domain name system. The full form of DNS is domain name system. In the DNS system, you will make your domain name records. Here, this is my example. So you can type yourcompanyname.com, and then you will type the IP address there. So when the client will open the website, open the browser and will type in the address bar, This is www.yourcompany.com. That browser, that client OS, it's the Windows 10 device. Then Windows 10 device will send that request to DNS server, and DNS server will search in the database. That database is called as zones. So it will search in the zones, and from that zones, it will find the address record, a record of this www server. So it is like 208. So whatever you have intranet or internet IP address, you can have that IP provided from that zone to your client. So client will happily, that operating system and that browser will happily go on that IP address and will get the web page from that web server. So DNS server is required for name resolution, converting FQDN. This is FQDN to IP address. Domain name system. So what is your company name? That is the FQDN. It is also called as, sometimes it is also called as domain name. So this is domain name, and this domain name will get converted to the IP address using domain name system. So it is also required there in activity environment. So this is a mandatory rule. Without DNS, your activity will not work. Your activity will not work. So let's check on the client device, Windows 10. If the Windows 10 is having that user login there or not. Yes, I can see here. I can confirm by going in the this icon, user icon. It shows you got login as Salesforce. And whatever the data you shared, whatever the folders you share, you can see that by going to this PC, and type here / your server name / or you can go to network and enable the network discovery service. So if that devices are available, it will show you. I'm not an administrator, but I can type my slash is not working here due to some reason. But I can type / my server name and I can see that. Let me check here and let you see that. Let me check with my keyboard layout. Albanian keyboard. Who selected this? So let me go with English India or English. Perfect. Show me / perfect. Now DC1. So whatever share folders you will see in DC1, that server, you can go and visit that and you can get the files from that server. So this way I can access my network devices. So this authorization process will get completed when I will log into this server. So at the last summary of this webinar, what we learned the server OS requirement, what is domain control, that basic question, and installing Windows Server, configuring Windows Server Manager, basic server setting, we configure the IP address and host name, that is only the thing is required. Then we install the activity, that is ADDS service, role installation. I have shown you how to create the users and group. It will be more than 1 hour, 2 hours lecture will be on the users and group through PowerShell and all that in my training courses, regular training courses. But you will get the idea now in this webinar, what is Windows Server, for what purpose this Windows Server will get used, and what is domain. For this reason, I'm arranging this type of webinars just to make your concept clear. Why this client OS, what is the difference between client OS and server OS, and what are the different rules available in your server. So for that reason, I'm arranging this webinar. If you have your questions, you can fire that questions here. And I will just give you 5 or 10 minutes. And if you want to talk with me, you want to ask me the questions directly, let me check if I can assign you, because this Zoho Showtime is having restriction there. Only 10 people can have the mic access at a time. So let me check. I got an error. Okay. So if you want to ask me the question, in the audio or video mode, you can. Video is not possible here, but in audio mode, you can ask me the question. For official training, we do not use this Zoho Showtime. This is only for webinar purpose we are using, and we are using Microsoft Teams there. So I'm having, you can see here, I'm having my one-to-one batches. This one-to-one batches also I'm running, and these different teams I'm using for one-to-one and shared batches. So these are my batches I'm running in Microsoft Teams, most frequently used, and hidden teams when I'm taking that batches, that batches also got listed there. So we use Microsoft Teams for communication purpose in the live batches for training purpose. Me and Sangeeta madam both are using Microsoft Teams there. So Microsoft Team is a big product and it's really good for communication purpose. And schedule we are having. So we are running these batches like from this date to this date. We're having these batches running on the schedule. So you can see AWS Solution Architect 1-to-1 August 2020 batch. I'm running this from August 1st of August 2020. So this batch is going on for that student. So these batches we are having when I'm having this batch generated 10th August. So from 10th August approximately, I'm running this batch in Microsoft Teams. So we are using Microsoft Team for our lecture purpose. We are not using this Zoho Showtime. Zoho Showtime is really good for one time this type of webinars, this type of activities like a demo or interactive activities like what I need to present. For that purpose, I'm using Zoho Showtime. For regular batches, we are using Microsoft Team. Any more question, guys? If you are connecting from mobile phone, just see there from mobile phone, you cannot download this handouts there or material there. This material, this training notes, what I'm having, it will be available through the desktop only. And if you did not receive that right now, if you are connecting from mobile, just email me and you can see my contact number given at the end of these slides. You can join my MCSA Windows Server training. MCSA exams and this certification is available till January 2021. So within few months, Microsoft is going to stop this exam. So and there will not be any certification on 2019 server. But we, our career, our knowledge will not stop. So we will continue with this same syllabus in 2019 server as a 2019 administration training course. So it will not have the tag or it will not have any exam available from Microsoft. This is the last certification what Microsoft is having for on-premises technologies, you can say. They closed all on-premises technology certifications. Now they are moving towards cloud only. They have the business policy, cloud first. So there will not be any MCSA after I'm updating my website, and from that website you will find that within next week might be I will get that website uploaded, and you can visit this certificationguru.org website and you will see the changes there. I will not have this MCSA listed there, so I will run Windows Server 2019. I already have started 2019 batches for my MCSA syllabus. So whatever the batches I'm taking for Windows 2016 MCSA, I'm running that batches in my 2019 Windows Server. So I already have migrated my all the batches to 2019, but this certification will not be available after January 2021. So syllabus will be same, fees will be same, content will be same, and more content we need to add for 2019 server. We need to cover more features. What 2019 is having latest features, that also we need to cover. But your certification will not be available from Microsoft. Your certificate, when you achieve this before January, certificate will have the validity till mainstream support of the product will end. Say next 2 years, next 3 years, next 4 years, when Microsoft will stop the support for this Windows 2016 server. Till that time, your certificate, your logo and that credential will be valid. After that, it will say legacy certification. But if you want to pass this exam, go and appear these exams for this MCSC certification before January. So after January 31st, these exams will not be available, and they don't have any plan for 2019 server. They are moving away from on-premises to the cloud only. So they are having more Azure certification and all that only available. So no server certification in 2019, that Windows Server, and no certification for this updated version of Windows Server. You can say anything will not be there in future. Yes, you can ask me the question, and if you don't want to ask that, no worries. You can visit my profile. You can see my local contact detail numbers there, or you can WhatsApp me. If you have any questions, you can WhatsApp me on this number, or you can fire that on my email, manoj@certificationguru.co.in or manoj@certificationguru.org. Both email addresses are valid. Or you can ask me the questions right now also in the chat window. You can ask me that. Yes, guys. question? Anything else you want to add? If you want to speak, no worries. Ask me here in the chat window. Put that question in the chat window. I will give you the voice access. VMware, we do not have demo session. Virtualization I run, and you can attend that. No, VMware demo I don't run. It's very heavy technology. For demo purpose, it is not possible. So you can directly join my training course, and you can just see that live training itself with a lot of hands-on demos or hands-on practicals there. I'm going to cover. But virtualization, yes, we are having the virtualization essentials. You can register. Yes, you can register that virtualization webinars there. I'm having that webinars available in YouTube. Just search in the YouTube certification guru and in the YouTube channel, or you can go on our website and you can register there for under webinars. Find that virtualization webinar and you can see the virtualization webinar. But it is not specifically on the VMware. It is specifically on VirtualBox and this desktop virtualization product for setting lab. For desktop operating systems only. Yes, guys. Okay, so everything good at your end? Any more question? Yes, Mr. Bausar, Ashok, Austin, good luck. Khushi, Dipiksha, Arpit, Macgabo, Vernika, Amol, Shapneri Parth, Shashank, Bhavna, Daniel, Devanshi, and Kaustu. Okay, very good. Yes, in the cloud, Daniel, this knowledge is required for everywhere. This Windows Server knowledge is required everywhere, in on-premises also and in the cloud also. Because in the cloud, what you will manage, that is the server OS only. You will not have the client devices in the cloud. So you need to have this server knowledge everywhere. Why? Because in the cloud, if Microsoft says, because they are focusing more on the Microsoft business part only, cloud business, they want to focus, they want to capture. But you need to have the knowledge, as a beginner, as a student point of view, as an administrator point of view, you need to have the server knowledge in the cloud also. Because in the cloud, you are going to manage server itself. You are not going to manage your client devices in the cloud. So don't worry, your knowledge is required everywhere, Daniel. So, I am also not going to stop the course because I'm going to move that to the server administrator, you can say. So, it's a Windows 2019 server administration course I'm going to start because, career will never stop. Your knowledge should not stop there in one version, or if they are not having certification, then who will give you that certificate, or we will give you the knowledge? We as a trainer, we are here to give you that knowledge, because administration of your server OS is compulsory required in on-premises also, in on-premises data center, local data center, and in the cloud also. In the cloud, you are going to manage servers only. So you need to have the server knowledge. Then yes, Dipiksha. Absolutely right. You will get this recording once this session will get completed. Within half an hour, this recording will be available to me, and I will send that through email. It is not available for download, and you can come back again. We will send you the email. You just click on that email. You can come back to this portal, and you can play this recording from that email link. It is available there for your as many as time you want to view that. It will be available from that email. I will send you that email. No worries, Dipiksha. And you will receive the certificate also, attendance certificate also. I will send that once this session will get concluded. I will send the attendance certificate. The guys who just have register for this webinar, they will not receive the attendance certificate. You need to be here in the webinar, this live session. Then only the system will generate the certificate, and I can send that certificate to the attendees only. Recording will be available to everyone, and in the recording you will see the notes, and if you want to get that notes, just email me. Once you receive the recording, just email me. I will share that link for downloading that for downloading that notes later on. This system is sending only the recording. They do not or at this time in the hands out menu, hands out, handout. Oh, it's not hands out. It's a handout list. So under chat window, you will see that chat option. You will see that hands out option, and just go ahead and download that PDF file there on your laptop or desktop. You can download that. From mobile phone, you will not receive that. Mobile phone is having different interface, so mobile application is not allowing you to download that from that mobile application. Some people got connected from that Showtime, that mobile application. That mobile application is not having that feature or option available there. Anything else related to your career, not only for this MCSA, but for other technologies or other thing, if you want a guidance? No worries. If you don't want to discuss here in the live chat, no worries, or in live session, you can WhatsApp me later on. I will be always available there on WhatsApp or email. And the awesome, beautiful part is what we are the owners. We conduct this all the batches personally. We do not have appointed faculty. This is our own institute. Certification Guru is our own institute. Me and my wife Sangeeta, both are the trainers. She is conducting batches on the programming subject. That is in Java and .NET only. 2 specializations she is running, and I'm conducting the batches for the server client and this cloud technologies like Google Cloud, AWS, and I'm already having that certification completed there, and good experience we are having. So for that reason, we do not appoint faculties. When I'm working hard, as an owner, I don't trust the faculty. That faculty will not work at that level. When I'm giving 100% efforts I'm putting that efforts in my batch. I'm giving 100% output to my students. So that much, we don't get the guarantee from the faculties. We don't appoint faculties mostly for all the batches. Okay, if you don't have questions later on, if you got that, you WhatsApp me or email me, or you can contact me on from my website also. You can see the contact details there under my page, and you can call me on the that VoIP numbers. Training session. One reminder here: if you want to attend networking essential, say after 2 days, I think today is Wednesday. Yes, today is Tuesday. Okay. On Thursday, I'm having a webinar on networking essential. So if you want to attend that on 17th, in India standard time at the same time only, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. So you can go and attend that free webinar on networking essentials. It is on say day after tomorrow. Day after tomorrow, you can register that from my website. Or if you have your friends or colleagues, you can pass this information to them and you can attend that webinar or ask them to attend that webinar on networking essentials. Thank you. Bye bye. See you in the next training session. Bye bye.